Hi, everyone. My name is John Cottrell. This is Soft Flow. So I want to welcome you to this 60-minute gentle yoga practice. If you're just tuning in, hello. And of course, for our 60-minute gentle yoga practice, we always like to use props. One of the main things I like to focus on in this slower moving practice is that we're taking care of ourselves. We're very mindful and attentive to our bodies. And so mainly our joints and our backs, knees, ankles, wrists, our necks, shoulders, and of course our lower backs. And so I like to use props, something like a blanket to sit on, even kneel on to protect our knees and our wrists. Also use blocks, and it's just a way to I like to sit on a block just to kind of lift myself up. It just feels a little bit better in my low back. But also, if there's postures where you might be touching the ground with your hand, but you can't quite reach the ground, you can use something stackable like blocks or books so that the ground is a little bit closer to you. And then another big soft cushion, like this is a yoga bolster or a cushion on your sofa or a big pillow, just something soft that you might want to rest your head on or use as a nice prop for your Shavasana practice. That's about all that we'll need in our practice today. We're going to be focusing on some twisting. And so with twists, we'll be experimenting with some postures that will stretch and lengthen the sides of our body. And just so we can have some mobility in our torso and to practice twisting, which is great for our core, it's great for digestion, and just really feels good in the core system. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and begin our practice together. We're going to start in seated. So maybe sitting on your big pillow or soft folded blanket. You can cross your legs or you can extend your legs, whatever feels most comfortable. Even feel free to sit up against something like a wall or up in a chair if that feels best for you for this first part of our practice. And we just take some time to get into our breath. So as you're finding stillness in your body, maybe closing your eyes or just softening your eyes, taking a gaze forward or downward, just so you can start your journey inward. You might start with a few deep breaths, maybe a slow, long inhale and an exhale. And you're welcome to breathe out with a sigh through your mouth. Maybe even kind of loosen the shoulders. You might even shake your shoulders or roll your shoulders. Or even a gentle shake or movement in the neck. We tend to hold a lot of tension in the upper body, especially in the neck and shoulders and upper back. So again, you might breathe in deeply and an exhale with a sigh and just feel the body relax. And just continue to settle into the space, breathing slowly and gently. This is our breathing meditation, which brings us to this moment. Slow, steady breaths, helping you to be more in tune with yourself. As you're able, breathe in a way that you can hear your breath and feel your breath. The feeling is perhaps an expansion in your lungs as you inhale. And then the exhale, just feeling that nice release. Good. Noticing this settling of the body and the mind. Go ahead and take 3 more slow, deep breaths. And these breaths are to prepare our bodies to move. And adding a very simple movement. When you inhale, extend your arms out and up, reaching up into the air. And then exhale, extend your arms out and let them float back down by your side. Again, inhale, extend your arms out, reaching all the way up. Good extension, reaching high. Then exhale, extend your arms out, and let them float back down by your side. Taking your time, just breathing and moving at your own pace. Moving in slow motion, reaching outward with good effort, reaching all the way up. Feel that energy in your fingertips. As you exhale, just feeling your arms in motion as they float back down by your side. Again, when you breathe in, just feel the breath rising to fill up your lungs. You might even start to feel that lengthening and stretch quality we want in the sides of the body. Exhale. Here's another sensation as you're able. Draw your navel inward towards your spine. It's a light contraction of the abdominal muscles. It's a nice engagement. It's a way to keep the body, your torso mainly, very sturdy and tall and long, especially as you bring the arms down, because you want to remain tall and lengthen through the spine. Go ahead and finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more breaths. Again, just feeling that nice energetic reach into the air, reaching outward across the room and back down. Feel the stretch and lengthening down through the sides of your body. And when you're complete, just let your arms relax down by your side or in your lap. Take a few breaths here. Once again, just noticing, feeling the body as it comes back to this relaxed state. Our next pose is a minor back bend. While still seated, just go ahead and bring your hands behind you. If you're sitting up on something like a block or pillow, you might just lean back onto your fingertips. If you're closer to the ground, maybe it's okay and easy to place your palms on the mat. And then here, roll the shoulders backward, pull them back gently so you can really feel this opening of the chest. And then even tip your chin up a little bit so there's a lot more space in the upper chest region. Then when you inhale, push into the ground with the hands. Feel the energy and length in the arms. Feel your breath rise to fill up your lungs. Pretty expansive breath in. Hold that sensation as you exhale, pulling belly button in towards your spine. We call that the abdominal lock. Again, pushing down into the ground when you inhale, feeling the breath rise, expanding and opening the chest region. Exhaling, drawing belly in. Just keep adding more sensations, which brings us to a greater awareness of ourselves. Your next exhale, not only are you drawing navel inward towards your spine, but perhaps if you can, squeeze the shoulder blades together behind you, engaging your upper back muscles. We'll take 2 more breaths here. Once again, just noticing the sensations you've created in your body. After your second breath, take your time. You can just lower your chin, walk your hands towards yourself as we sit up nice and tall. And to regain that lengthening and lifted torso sensation, inhale to reach up into the air. Another nice stretch here at the top. Exhale, extending outward across the room as you bring your hands back down by your side. And again, just rest your hands, arms down in your lap. Let everything relax, coming back to neutral. Take a breath. It's this nice comparison where you really engage the body and experience those sensations and then come to relaxation. So your body really knows the difference when you're tense or tight or energetic or even tired. And then knowing when you can just let the body really settle. All right, if your legs are crossed, let's go ahead and uncross the legs and then replace the legs and feet so that the knees are bent, soles of the feet are touching here. We're going to take a forward fold carefully to get a little stretch in the inner thighs. Now, if the knees don't touch the ground, and they certainly don't have to touch the ground, you might want to use your blocks or pillows or books, whatever you have here, to tuck underneath. So your legs literally get to rest. They're relaxing on something in space right there. And it just adds more relaxation and release in the inner thighs. So wherever you are, you want to hold on to your legs, maybe your calves or ankles, and just sit up nice and tall. Inhale to grow even taller as you're able. Exhale, pull belly in, and then hinge at the hips, leaning forward, leading with your heart and your chin a little bit. And you can see I didn't move very far, just a tiny hinge forward. Hold here for a moment as you inhale again, re-extending the spine, getting longer and taller. Exhale, pull belly in, hinge at the hips, lean forward, being led by your heart and chin a tiny bit more. And that's another part of the theme of our soft flow practice, is that we take our time. We're moving in slow motion, taking our movements in small increments, so we aren't harming the body. We're going to be able to move, especially if we decide we want to move somewhat deep into a posture, that we're not shocking the body. We're going gently, easily, and certainly being guided by breath. As you're hinging forward, you might come to a point where you just want to pause and just stay right where you are because it feels just right. If you decide you're going to go a little further, feel free to even just lower your chin, let your back round. Just go a little further. Again, not forcing the body. At any point where if you feel like you've pushed or went a little bit too far, just back up a little bit or come slightly out of the pose. Come to a place that's a little bit more maybe conducive to being able to relax somewhat in the posture. Let's hold here a little bit longer. This can be a nice release for the back, the low back. And since we'll be doing some twisting, this may be a nice sensation to create, especially in the low back region, just to provide a little bit more space. Let's take 3 more breaths here. When you're ready to move, start by just lifting your head, looking forward. That will start the re-extension of your spine. Place your hands on the ground and maybe press into the ground to help press and lift yourself back up until you're nice and tall in your seat. And just pause here for a moment. That same placement of relaxation and ease in the body after being in a pose. And then take our time. We'll move our props out of the way. And then we're going to swing the legs around. We're going to come to our hands and knees, just move in a way that's best for you, that feels right. And then we're going to come to our hands and knees. And you may want to use something soft underneath you, like your blanket for your wrists and your knees. So have that nice cushioning. And so we're here for cat and cow. We're going to inhale when you're ready, lifting your head, looking forward, placing a slight arch in the back, not much. Exhale, we're going to round it out. Your chin will tuck in towards your chest, your back will round, and your belly button will pull up towards your spine. Reverse it. You'll inhale, look forward, feel the pelvis tip back. Your belly might drop a little bit. That's cow. Exhaling, rounding it all out. Pulling belly button up towards spine to feel that engagement. That's cat. And just continue to flow at your own pace through these 2 movements. Now there is a somewhat of a firm press into the ground with the hands. You want to keep your arms straight, so they're not really moving. They're not, the elbows aren't bending or anything. As you go through this, feeling this nice loosening perhaps through the whole spine and your pelvis, you might find that you're able to go a little deeper into the cow pose, which is the back bend when you're looking up and forward. You might even go a little deeper in the exhale, cat pose, pulling belly button up towards spine, feeling a little bit more of that roundedness in the upper back. Finish the breath that you're on, take 2 more. And after that second round of breath, we're going to start a new round of breath, but this time move in a freer fashion. You can continue with cat and cow, but maybe you want to circle the hips, something like this. Maybe big circles, or moving your hips side to side. I like going side to side, just laterally, just once to the left to get a little stretch in the outer hip and glute. And other side. You might even sit back as if you're going into child's pose. You can even take child's pose to get a little stretch in the lats and your arms and your back. Another thing you can try on here is maybe thread the needle, creating a little bit of a twist. So really just some free motion here, just listening to your body, responding to what your body might need in this moment. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a real yoga pose. Maybe it's just movement or stretch or something that just feels good. But you're just using breath to help guide you and support you. And if it is a stretch, perhaps maybe you're sending breath to the spaces that need that lengthening or release or comfort. Go ahead and take 3 more breaths in this free flow. And then return to your hands and knees and just pause here in this tabletop posture. Just hold for a moment. Take your time. Let's get prepared for our next pose. If you are using a blanket, let's just crawl off the blanket and we'll set it to the side. And then come back to hands and knees. And from here, just step your hands forward a little bit, spreading out your fingers as you do so. One, as you step forward, it gets the wrists out from underneath the shoulders. And 2, spreading out the fingers stretches the fingers, and even pressing your palms flat into the mat to stretch open your palms. Make sure the arms stay straight as you press. You're going to inhale and take a little cow pose, arching the back, a little back bend right here. Exhale, round it all out into cat pose, and even hold cat pose for a second. Pull the belly button up towards your spine. Tuck your toes here, and then lift your knees and hips up into the air. You might need to adjust a slight bit by stepping forward with the feet, just a little bit there, until you're in downward facing dog. Not here very long at first. We're going to take a look up at the space between the hands and start walking forward up towards the hands. You might need to rise up onto your fingertips a little bit, just so you can get your feet underneath you enough where your feet are flat on the ground. This will put you in a pretty deep forward fold. From here, you're going to inhale and slide your hands way up the legs, maybe up to your knees or thighs, until you're only about halfway up. We're going to pause here as we exhale. So the torso is long and flat. You look like a table. You can keep that slight bend in the knees. You don't have to lock out the knees there. Keep breathing. As you inhale, you want to feel like the crown of your head or the very top of your head is directing you forward, or while your hips or your tailbone is taking you backward. You take another couple breaths here. Again, the exhale, you want to pull the belly button up towards spine to engage and hold your body in place. When we're ready, we're going to start shifting the weight back into the heels. Bend your knees, let the hips drop, look forward, extend your arms out to the side. You're going to stand up all the way. Reach into the air, big stretch here at the top. Exhale, extend your arms out and just bring your arms down by your side, completing that flow. We end up here in mountain pose. So you might have your arms down by your side. You can have your palms facing yourself or facing forward, whatever's comfortable here at the moment. And again, just returning to breath. All right, let's go through that half salute once again. Basically, it's our fold, and then we'll come back up. Taking our time. Here we go. Inhale, reach into the air. Another big stretch. Feel the lengthening through the sides of your body. Exhale, spread your wings. Bring your arms out to the side. Bend your knees. Sit back into an imaginary chair. Your hips feel like they're moving to the back end of your mat. Bend your knees. Let the hands drop. Let your head drop naturally. Your back might round. Then inhale, slide your hands up to your knees or thighs, extending your spine. Hold here on the exhale. So we've returned to that tabletop position. It's just called half forward fold, or I like to call it monkey pose. That's another nickname for this posture. You're going to roll back towards your heels, bend your knees, let your hips drop, look forward, spread your wings again, reach out, rise up, reach into the sky, big stretch, And again, go ahead, exhale, bring your arms back down by your side. Palms facing your body or turned forward. Couple breaths. All right, now we're going to be guided through a sun salutation. A nice full sequence for the body. Moving at your own pace. And again, we'll break this down. Here we go. Inhale, reach into the air. Big stretch here at the top. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, sit back like you're sitting back into a chair. Bend your knees, coming down, let your hands drop, let the head drop naturally, feel the back round. Inhale, rise up halfway, monkey pose or half forward fold, lengthening. Now on this exhale, slowly fold back down, bend your knees more, folding enough until you can place your palms on the mat. And then start walking both of your feet back into plank pose or a high push-up position. You can hold here or even bring knees to the ground to help stabilize the body. I like to hold here for a couple seconds just to engage strength in the entire body. Let's breathe in. Exhale, bend your knees a little bit, send your hips into the air. This is our return to downward facing dog. Now, you might need to make some adjustments. I like to tiptoe forward a little bit, even take my hands a little wider. I just feel a bit more settled, and I can relax a little easier into this posture. Hands are pressing firmly into the ground so your arms are straight. Heels are lifted, knees are bent, spine is nice and long. Breathing deeply. We're going to continue. We're going to inhale, lift your right foot and extend the leg back and up behind you. Exhale, bend your right knee. Bring the knee in underneath you towards your chest. Shift your body weight forward until your shoulders are right over the wrists. Once you're there, just set your right foot on the ground, no matter where. Just place it down. And then put your left knee on the ground, other side. Reach back with your right hand, grab hold of the right foot and place it up a little higher on the mat. This is just one way to get here. You might be able to step all the way up to the top of the mat. Relift the left knee. Stay in this lunge. But if your weight is forward towards your hands and fingers, we need to pull the hips back towards the back end of the mat until the hands are very light and you can lift your upper body a little bit, maybe to here. Here, there's no weight on my hands. I call this sweeping the ground, sweep the floor. There's no weight on my hands. And then bring hands up to your thigh, press into the thigh to help lift yourself up to about 45 degrees. So it's an angled body, but it's a straight line running from the crown of your head, down through your spine, down through the back leg to your left heel. Push that left heel back and maybe down towards the ground to anchor. Yes, squeeze your inner thighs towards each other to engage your legs and hips. Exhale, pull belly in to engage. This is all a nice supportive nature of the body. Sweep your arms out, reaching up into the air. Big stretch is like you're reaching for the ceiling. And then exhale, lunge a little bit by bending both knees a little bit more. Hold for a moment. It's a great balancing lunge position. It opens up the left hip flexor. We're going to inhale, lift a little so you can pivot or turn the whole left leg, placing the back heel onto the ground. You turn sideways, bring your arms down to parallel. We're in Warrior Two. Hold for a moment here. Make sure your right knee and toes are pointing directly forward. Good adjustment there. We're going to reach out over the right leg. Angled upper body, rotate the arms. Bring the right arm down. Left arm reaching up into the air initially. Maybe a breath or two right here. We want to get a little bit more of that side body stretch. So continue reaching overhead with this left hand, reaching in the same direction as your right knee. So you're reaching through the fingertips, feel the lengthening through the left side of your body, left foot pressing a little bit more into the ground. Very nice. Let's breathe in. Exhale. We're going to carefully turn towards the floor. Fold slowly. Bring your hands down to the mat. Rise up onto your tiptoes behind you. So we've returned to that runner's lunge. Push firmly and strongly into the ground with your hands so you can slide the right foot back. So we've returned to our plank pose. Breathe in. Then your exhale to bend your knees, lifting your hips up into the air. Your return to downward facing dog. Make any adjustments with your hands and feet. And when you're ready, inhale, extend left leg up into the air behind you. Doesn't have to reach high, just long. Exhale, bend the left knee, bring it in underneath you, shifting your body weight forward until your wrists are over your, your shoulders are over your wrists. Place the left foot down. If it didn't make it up to the wrist, set the right knee onto the ground, reach back, pick up the left foot and place it up a little higher on the mat next to your hand. Relift the right knee. Shift the body weight back until there's no weight on the hands. Maybe it's rising up partially so you can sweep the ground with the fingers. Hands up to the thigh. Press into the thigh, lifting up to our 45-degree angle. Strong straight line leading from head all the way back down to that right heel, which you're pushing back and towards the ground. You might even feel a stretch in the calf muscle there. Squeeze to inner thighs. Pull belly in to engage. Reach out with the arms. Reach up into the air. Inhale. Then your exhale, lunging a little deeper, just bending the knees a little bit more. Hold for a couple more breaths. Our high lunge position. Noticing what's happening in the body in this balancing lunge posture. We're going to inhale, lift a little to unlock the hips. Pivot right heel to the ground, turning sideways. Make sure your left knee is still pointing forward. Arms come down to parallel. It's a warrior two. Settle into the posture, feel it. Then reach out over the left leg, angled upper body, rotate the arms. Then you can notice I'm not going down very far. Now you could bring this left hand all the way down to the ground. Or if you can't reach the ground, that's where your stacked books or blocks can come in handy. But perfectly fine to stay up as high as I am. Let's get that side body stretch. So reach your right hand over your head. Reach in the same direction as your left knee with the fingertips. Lift and lengthen as the right foot presses a little bit more into the ground. We want this side body stretch. Remember, we're doing twists today, so we need space in the sides of the body. Breathe in. Exhale, we'll carefully turn, then carefully fold. Bring your palms to the ground. Rise up onto your tiptoes behind you. There's our runner's lunge. Press hands firmly into the ground so they're strong. So the left foot can easily slide back into plank pose. Hold here. Let's see if we can hold a little bit longer, even if you need to bring the knees to the ground. Let's generate some good energy and strength. Now let's go ahead and gently set both knees onto the ground. We're going to sit back to get off the hands and then just take a seat. Now feel free to sit on something soft, like your blanket, or even lift a little bit like stacked blocks. We're going to sit in a cross-legged position, whatever's comfortable for you. I like to sit in half lotus. This is just comfortable for me. You can come to perfect pose. This is just one leg or one ankle in front of the other. This is perfect pose, if you can see this. Or just easy pose where you just kind of come to a natural cross-legged position. Any one of these is fine. So we're going to start our twisting. So once you've found your comfortable seat, let's get set. I'm going to try to mirror you. So you're going to take your right hand and place it behind you, or just somewhere in the back area behind your hip, perhaps. Push into the ground with your hand or fingertips so you feel very tall. That's it. Now take your left hand and place it maybe on the outside of the right knee or thigh. Yeah, over here. We're going to inhale and get even taller. Good. Exhale, pull belly in and start a gradual rotation towards that right side, towards the right knee. Now you don't have to turn very hard or fast at all, because it's very obvious that you already have revolved or twisted, because you're not facing forward. Even if you turn slightly, you're in a twist. It really just depends on your own flexibility in the sides of your body and how much your low back can take. But we certainly don't want to pull or go too far in this pose, just causing more stress and potential pain. Let's take a few more breaths here. Maybe concentrate on your exhale. That way you're kind of engaging muscles here, which is strengthening your core system. You might twist a tiny bit more. Just a little bit, not far at all, just to generate a little bit more stretch and release. Let's take 3 more breaths here on this side. Take a fourth breath and just feel yourself get tall and long, still in the twist. Exhale, pull belly in, and then unwind, facing forward. And the hands just come to your thighs or your knees. Pause here so everything on your insides can just come back to neutral. The spine unwinds. Even your internal organs get a little bit of a squeeze and they rinse out a little bit. All right, other side when you're ready. So now we're taking the left hand behind you. Easy enough for you just to press down into the ground to maintain the length in your spine, so nice and tall. Take your right hand and reach over to that left knee or thigh just to hold on. It just really just holds you in place. Inhale, sit up even taller. Good. Exhale, pull belly in and start to turn carefully towards the left knee. Again, not overdoing it. If you feel like you went too far on this first rotation, then unwind a little bit, which is exactly what I just did. Like I can go a little further, but my body was kind of reacting to that full twist. It wasn't quite ready. So just unwind a little bit. Take some time here until your body does feel ready to take that next step. Once again, concentrate on your exhale. You're pulling belly button in, but it's also affecting your obliques, kind of the muscles along the side portions of your body, in your abdominal system. We'll take 3 more breaths. Take a fourth inhale, still in the twist. Feel tall. Exhale, pull belly in. It's a way of supporting your body as you now unwind, facing forward. Hands, once again, just rest in your lap as everything comes back to neutral. You can probably feel everything kind of come back to its neutral place on the insides. Take some time to allow that to happen. All right, let's return to hands and knees. Let's get set up again for our downward facing dog. If you were sitting on some props, let's just set those to the side. Step your hands forward, spreading out your fingers. Press firmly into the mat with flat palms. Strong, straight arms. Tuck your toes. Inhale, look forward, arching the back slightly. Exhale it to round it out. Hold that cat pose, lifting knees and hips into the air. A slight pause here in downward facing dog. Then look at the space between your hands. Take a walk up towards the hands or until you're able to set your feet flat on the ground. Deep forward fold. Then inhale, slide your hands up the legs to your half forward fold. Once again, hold here at the exhale in monkey or half forward fold. Leaning back now, shifting weight back into the heels. Bend your knees, look forward. Inhale, sweep your arms out. Let's stand up tall. Once again, reach into the air. Exhale, bring your arms down by your side. Good. Once you've made it back to mountain pose, actually relax the whole body. You might want to wiggle your fingers, rotate the wrists, even move your elbows, your shoulders, because they were doing a lot of work. The downward facing dog, plank pose. So a lot of effort already. All right, we're going to do chair pose with the twist. Now, there's several ways you can do this. Let me just quickly demonstrate. You can relax. So you can have your feet hip distance apart like this and keep this stability right here in the body, taking a chair pose and twist, and just keeping the legs like this. Or you can even bring the legs together, squeezing the thighs perhaps together, which stabilizes you as you sit and take a twist. Now, if the legs don't come together or you feel too wobbly in that position, then you may want to take a block or just something like a pillow even, or a book, and just squeeze and hold on to the block between the thighs. That too will stabilize. So I'm going to do this first one with the block. So I'm going to have the block between the thighs. You can certainly do the same thing. And join me in the movement. We're going to inhale, reach into the air, big stretch, extended mountain pose. Exhale, take chair pose. Feel like there's a chair behind you. Sit back, hold. You're going to bring your hands to your heart, so you don't have to worry about the arms staying Extend it out in front of you. Good. And as you're in chair pose, you might even look down. Look at your feet, look at your toes. Everything's facing forward. They're even. There's alignment. Your knees are also aligned. You want to maintain that. Now, we'll inhale, feel a little bit more length in the spine. Exhale, pull belly button up towards spine and a gentle twist to your right side. Just like we did in that seated twisting posture. You didn't turn too far. You didn't go too fast. That's it. You don't even have to go down too low for this pose, unless you want to. But maybe take the time first. Use your breath. Create the space before you take it any further. Once again, you might want to look down at your feet and knees, being sure everything's still nicely aligned. Because we only want the upper body, your torso, to be in motion here. All right, this can be a little tiring, so we're going to inhale. Exhale, unwind. Place your hands on your thighs, just so everything once again just comes back to neutral. We're going to stand up tall. Inhale, reach into the air. Just re-extend the entire body. Let's go right into the other side. So exhale, take chair pose again. Once you found your seat, and again, you don't have to sit down too deeply, bring your hands to heart center. Settle in. If you need to, just check in with your alignment, feet, knees, and hips. Then inhale, re-extend spine in your chair pose. Exhale, pull belly button in a slight rotation now to your left side. I like to think of this like a dial, like maybe like a knob on your stove or something like that that turns. Or even another example, a good example is like holding, let's say like a ketchup bottle, and you're holding onto the bottle and you're only twisting the cap. The bottle stays in place. It's only the cap that's in motion. So in this case, the lower half of your body is the bottle, and your upper body, torso, is the cap. Breathing in, we're going to move out of the pose. Exhale, unwind now, placing your hands on your thighs. You can even feel the body relax there for a moment. Let's go ahead and stand up tall. Once again, inhale, reach into the air, another big stretch. Good, exhale, bring your arms down by your side, and that will complete our series. Good, once you're here, you can relax. If you've got a block or something between the thighs, you can release that, carefully place it on the ground. And let's get ready to flow. Return to mountain pose. Here we go. Inhale, reach into the air. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, sitting back and down into your imaginary chair. Let the hands come down, look down, forward fold, maybe touching the ground with good bend in the knees. Inhale, slide your hands up to your knees or thighs, long spine. Exhale, bend your knees enough, folding carefully to place your palms on your mat. Start walking both of your feet back into plank pose. Hold for strength as you inhale. Exhale, pull belly button in, bend your knees, send your hips into the air, downward facing dog. Let's go through one more lunge sequence. We'll inhale, extend right leg up behind you. Exhale, bend your right knee, bring it in underneath you towards your chest. If you're able, maybe the foot reaches all the way to the hand. If not, just place the foot down, place the left knee down, pick up the right foot, place it where you want, and then return to the lunge like this. If the weight is forward, shift your weight back. Hands are light, rise to fingertips, sweep the ground. Hands to thigh, press into the thigh, rise up to 45 degrees. Hold to engage, left heel pressing down, inner thigh squeezing in, belly button engaging. Sweep your arms out and up as you inhale. Reach for the ceiling. Exhale, lunge a little deeper. Hold for a second. Inhale, lift the body, pivot left heel to the floor, turn sideways. Bring your arms down to parallel warrior two. Right away, side angle, reach out. Angled upper body, rotate the arms. Right hand comes down. Just follow the left arm up and over, reaching through the fingertips, extending through the left side of the body. Inhale, we're still in motion. Exhale, carefully turn. Bring your hands to the floor. Rise up onto tiptoes behind you. Press palms into the ground. So you can slide the right foot back into plank. Hold plank. I'm going to add something here. Bring both knees to the floor. Sit back briefly into hero. Okay, now follow my instructions here. We're in hero. You're going to slide off to the right side, just like this. If you can, just lean enough to the right because you're going to extend the leg and bring it around to the front. So the left leg, that's it, swings around to the front. I need to move a little bit. And what you're going to do, either place the foot like this with the bent knee on the inside of the right knee or shin, or cross and step over. Yes. In the foot, if you can, have the whole foot placed on the mat. If it doesn't touch all the way on the ground, don't worry about it. Okay, now your left hand is going to come behind you, propped onto palm or fingertips, because you want to sit up nice and tall. Yes. Now we're already in a twist, but we're going to see if we can take this a little bit further. Now this right hand, several placements of this right hand. Now you can just hold on to the knee right here, just to hold you in place in this twist. Okay, here's another thing you can do is extend this right arm, wrap it around the knee, just kind of hugging the leg in towards yourself. Remember that back hand on the ground. Push into the floor to help you sit up as tall as can be. That's your inhale. Exhale, twisting a little bit. And here's another variation. And this is more of the traditional variation of the pose, where this arm comes up, bending the elbow, and the elbow comes onto the outside of the knee or thigh. This pose is called Half Lord of the Fishes. There's a story that goes along with this, but no time for the story right now. But Half Lord of the Fishes. And it's a twisting posture. It's a sage. There's a lot of poses that are seated twist postures that are named after wise people, sages. 2 more breaths. Noticing the twist and the sensations in the sides of the body, hips, and low back. I'm going to start to unwind. Take your time as you unhook that elbow, perhaps facing forward. Maybe place both hands behind you so you can lean back and extend both legs. Left leg comes out. Get that right leg out from underneath you and just come back to, let's come to a more neutral posture, staff pose. Yeah, so extend the legs, hands can come down onto the floor by your hips, push into the ground to help extend spine, roll your shoulders back, squeezing shoulder blades together. So much more neutral. We're certainly not in a twist. Couple breaths here. With that, we have that whole sequence on the other side. Go ahead and soften the body. Lean to any direction. Basically, just going to swing the legs back behind you so you can get back up onto hands and knees here. Once you're on hands and knees, get set up for down dog. Maybe step your hands forward. Spread out your fingers. Press palms into the ground. Straight arms. Tuck your toes. Exhale, lifting knees and hips into the air. Pause for a second. Make any adjustments with hands and feet. Lunge sequence, left side. Inhale, extend left leg up, reaching back. Exhale, left foot comes all the way up to the top of the mat next to left hand. Do the trick if you need to get the foot up a little higher up onto the mat. Once you're here, shifting the weight back. Hands are light, rise to fingertips to help extend spine initially. Sweep the ground with the fingertips. Bring hands up to your thigh to continue rising until the spine is very long in our angled position. Anchor the right heel, press inner thighs towards each other, pull belly in for stability. Then the arms can free themselves, reaching out, rising up, inhale. Exhale, lunge. Here's our high lunge, hold. Then inhale, lift a little to unlock the hips, pivot right heel to the ground, turn sideways, arms come down to parallel, warrior 2. Side angle, reaching out. Let's rotate the arms. Left arm comes down to the inner left thigh. Right hand reaching up and then over your head, reaching through your fingertips towards the front of your mat. Reach. Feel the right foot press into the ground. Right side body stretch. We're breathing in. We're exhaling to turn carefully, bending slowly to bring hands to the ground. Rise up onto tiptoes behind you. Press hands into the ground, strong arms, strong hands. Slide left foot back, plank. Bring the knees gently to the ground. Sit back, hero. All right, we need to move towards half floor to the fishes. So now we're sliding off or sitting off to the left side, way off to the left, so you can bring the right leg around to the front. And even adjust your seat. And one thing you can kind of align here just to figure out, like, well, what's really happening here? Your left knee in this case is kind of, if you're sitting in the center of your mat, your left knee is pointing directly forward, and it's even pointing right in the center of your mat out there. Now the right knee is bent, foot's on the ground, either on the inside of the knee or step over the knee on the outside. Either one, whatever feels okay in your hips. Okay, now your right hand's gonna come behind you, somewhere where it's easy for you to press into the ground to sit up tall. The left hand can literally just hold on to the knee, just like this. It's a nice way just to help stabilize and just keep yourself up. And you exhale, you're in a gentle, you're already in a twist pretty much, but maybe you're twisting a little bit more. So that's one hand placement, or you can extend the left arm, wrap it around so the bend of the elbow is wrapped around the knee right there, hugging the leg in. And when I do this, I get a little bit more sensation in the outer hip on that right side. And I can even twist a little further without forcing the body. And then the other variation, the more classic version, is to take the elbow hooked on the outside of the knee. Now I'm a little tight on this side, so this doesn't feel quite right. I can already feel my body kind of reacting to being in that pose, stressing out a little bit. It really doesn't want to be there. So I'm going to back up. So that's the one thing you really want to pay attention to, is like, how is your body responding? Because it'll respond differently every time. Some days you feel like, wow, I'm so flexible and my body is just fluid and I can just get into any pose, no problem. And there's other days you just feel a little stiff or tired. All right, 2 more breaths. So you may just want to back off a little bit, and that's perfectly fine. All right, slowly unwind. Lean back into your hands, both hands behind you, so you can lean back, so you can extend the legs, get those legs out from underneath you. Okay, extending, walk the hands in a little closer, maybe by your hips pushing down into the floor, sitting up as tall as can be. Shoulders roll back. You might even engage your upper back muscles. Even flex the feet just to activate the legs. Your whole body is very active in this posture after engaging those twists. Very nice. All right, go ahead and relax. Let's come to the final sequence, our closing variations. So we're just going to be lying down. Just want to make sure you have all your props that you want nearby, that you can easily grab them. Actually, I'm going to spin around. It's going to be easier for me. Okay, and then go ahead and lie down. So lying down with your knees bent, feet flat on the ground, and let everything just melt into the ground. So another opportunity for the body just to relax. No more engaging at the moment. We're going to be moving into a supported bridge pose. And supported meaning you might use a big pillow or stacked blocks or books to literally sit on. So I've got my blocks, they're ready to go. I've got them in hand. Exhale, press feet into the ground. Lift your hips high enough where you can slide your props underneath you so you can sit on them. Again, once you've lifted, which is an engaging movement, then you sit to disengage and just relax. So it's a very nice supported back bend. Opens the whole front side of the body. This is one of these poses that really could be, you could just hold for a long time if you wanted to, if it felt comfortable enough. This next movement is actually optional. You can just stay right where you are since it is quite relaxed. But if you like, you can extend your legs straight up into the air. Now you can do this while sitting on your blocks or a pillow, or if you want to or need to, come down to the ground and then extend your legs into the air. And again, this is really just optional for this practice today. You don't have to do this. But really, if you want it, just some movement of the legs in the air, flex the feet, point your toes, wiggle your toes. A little bicycle pedaling or just some movement of the legs to get into the hips a little bit. You can straighten the legs, but take them out away from each other to stretch the inner thighs in a different way. Even bring them up and cross the legs so you can get a little bit into the outer thighs and hips. You can even cross the legs like eagle pose. Again, being creative. You can always just bring the feet back down to the ground and just hold there in that supported bridge pose. When you feel complete here, if your legs are still extended, just take a moment, pause, then bend your knees and set your feet back down onto the ground. Once planted, lift the hips into the air so you can remove your props out from underneath you, set them to the side, and come all the way down to the ground. Once again, let the body relax. Let's hug the knees into the chest. And if you want, what I like to do is circle the legs here, which is a nice stretch and gentle release in the low back and hips. So I'll just circle to one side a few times and in the opposite direction. Or you can just hold the pose. You can even take this to a hip opener, like pull the legs out to the side to stretch the inner thighs, even take feet up into the air for happy baby pose. Again, these are just some options I'm providing you. You can choose any one of them or all of them or none of them. Moving into positions that feel better for you at this moment. Maybe a few more breaths with your hip opener or back release. When you feel set with all of that, come back to center. Just hug the knees in towards chest. Let's take a twist from here. So knees, both knees, take them down to the left side. Maybe they touch the ground. And if they don't, maybe place a prop underneath either the left knee or even between the knees. And then extend your right arm off to the right side. And that'll create that natural twist in the spine. So a few deep cleansing breaths, just complementing all the other twisting postures we did today. Let's take 3 more breaths on this side. When you feel ready, just return to center, just like every other twisting pose. We always came back to center. We paused there so that things can come back to neutral. And then take the other side. Even while just holding in stillness, be mindful of your breath. And let's take 3 more breaths. And when you feel complete, take your time, return to center, coming out of that twisting sensation. Hold for a moment with knees hugging in and deciding where you want to go for your restorative posture or the ending posture like Shavasana. So Shavasana, of course, is just extending your legs straight out in front of you onto the mat, arms down by your side, and just resting here. Or use your props in any way. Maybe you want something soft underneath your head or underneath your back. Maybe use your blanket or pillows. You can even elevate your legs, and I think I might do that. Actually, I'm just going to use my bolster and place it underneath my knees. So my knees are slightly bent. And this just feels a little bit more comfortable for me today, rather than just lying flat on the ground. That slight bend in the knees actually kind of puts a little release in my low back so I can feel a little bit more comfortable in this reclined posture. We might want to elevate your upper body. So again, any position that feels best. And once you're there, settle into stillness. Maybe close your eyes. Concentrate on just the soft, easy flow of your own breath. Stay exactly where you are. No need to move just yet. Just focus on your breathing. Return to the awareness of your breath. Continue to have awareness of your breathing, and perhaps take 5 slow, deep breaths. Mindful breath. And feel your breath move through your entire body. This acknowledgement of your own being, an acknowledgement of your practice. And as you're approaching your 5th breath, prepare your body to move. And after your 5th breath, moving in slow motion, carefully, slowly roll onto either side of your body. Just moving into a nurturing pose. Hold for a moment. Just want to take your time. And from here, rising to a seated position. Once again, just moving in slow motion, no rush. And just sitting comfortably, nice and tall with your extended spine, maybe sitting up on a pillow or a block. And inhale and extend your arms out and up, reaching for the sky. Exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Hold in stillness for a moment. And as we complete our practice together, we bow, saying, Namaste. Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me in this practice today. If you liked it, be sure to give us a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and tell your friends about these yoga classes that you can do right in your own home. Again, my name is John Cottrell. This is MBODY Yoga. Thank you so much. Namaste.